What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part 59 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Malekith and Naggarond Inc. campaign. Sorry, no Naggarond Inc. intro this time around. My voice is a little bit weird this week from work and I guess talking all the time, so yeah, unfortunate, but we have more important stuff to discuss anyway. Namely, as promised at the end of last episode, I did go through, I want to say 6 turns since the end became nigh, and obviously did not fight any battles, but more so just did admin until we got to a battle. The admin entailed building lots of buildings, moving lots of armies into their positions to get as close to the endgame scenario places as possible. Even decided to bring Rakarth over here for Orion's camp, because who knows how many armies he's gonna spawn, though I'm now thinking maybe we should have had a few more armies here, because we have less armies than we do enemies spawning, but this is nonetheless the place where we're about to fight. On top of that, as we can see, we've traded lots and lots of territories to the Golden Order and to Reikland that were taken from Vlad, as well as a few more territories given to Clan Angrand and Karakadrin. So all of these factions are back in action, and I'm just gonna hope that all of them together can take out this one, oh, actually 2 territories left to the Fecondites. We'll see. Regardless, though, it's probably not going to be important, as the end is very, very soon. And that's going to be the goal for this episode. Do the one battle that I'm thinking of doing, and then try to activate the endgame scenario. As for the end battle, or the battle right now, it is this. Daith has been declared war on us, and while he hasn't attacked us, I figure we should probably take out Val's Anvil before we activate the endgame scenario, as it'll allow us to build up territories, or Val's Anvil itself, just like we did the Waterfall Palace and Kingsglade, with additional units in case we need them for the defense. So, Akhenet and... or maybe Mave. You know what, let's go Mave and Theshelray, because Akhenet's had a little bit more time to play, and Theshelray is one of the heroes of this campaign by virtue of acquiring the Sword of Cain. So we'll send her to Val's Anvil, and then we'll follow up. Can't go Druki for a strike, unfortunately. We'll follow up with Mave and this entire High Elven army. I think that'll work better. And we should probably get another army in here, but I'll think about it. I do have one more potential army on the way, Eladan Shadow Dart, though the Great Sword Shades wouldn't be as effective against the Wood Elves as they would be against other factions with a lot less range. But, well, Malekith will at least be here, even if it is very dangerous for everyone that isn't Malekith. Anyway, the Theshelray, you are going to attack. It'll be a Pyrrhic victory according to this, 2 full stacks after all, and high veterancy as well. Tons and tons of range attacks coming through against a pile of units that are fairly vulnerable to it, so we'll have to be at least reasonably careful. Speed bonus, I guess, can go to you, the Master, because there's no other single unit, and here we go. If you will it, eh? Alright, once again, not the longest of speeches, especially compared to those speeches made by Yuan Bo, as I've been noticing in the new campaign lately, but nonetheless. The Dark Elves are to the point, let's say, and I do often mean that to be literal, as in they'll stab you. Anyway, we're going to start the battle off with a nice flamestorm right in the middle of all of these poor Eternal Guard and Deepwood Scouts, and it looks like it's going to knock down their barricade and do a little bit of damage as well. A Burning Head's going to follow that up and do a little bit of damage to one and clip a couple of other units as well. Not going to do too much damage to these, but it basically halved the HP of that Glade Guard, and the Flamestorm is still going. That said, this is going to be a heck of a fight. Look at all those defenses, even with 2 to 3 of the units destroyed. They just have so many many range units, and I think it'll be a good fight because on top of that, our lords aren't that strong. They're not very high level, and while we have a decent army with the Shell Raid, the second army is probably middling, especially on the offensive in a enemy settlement. On a field battle, yes, I would say in a one-on-one, these guys should probably be able to defeat a Wood Elf army without taking insane losses, mind you, despite the low level and the fact that the high elf units lack the general buffs. Oh, and they have low veterancy as well. But in this particular situation, we definitely have the enemy at an advantage, or rather, the enemy has the advantage here. Anyway, looks like the Chivalry's actually taking shots from something. I take it that she's just getting hit by an enemy Glade Captain or somebody, but I guess not for much longer, as it's time to finally charge in. Both stacks will charge in at the same time. We're going to lead with 2 waves. First, the Silverian Guard here, and then the Black Guard of Naggarond, and then the Hargonath Executioners, trying to charge as many of the enemy units as possible at the same time. We do have several additional waves that are going to follow up the Witch Elves and the Sisters of Slaughter because they're more fragile and vulnerable to range fire. Then similarly, the various Silver Helms here, and then even more Witch Elves and Sisters of Slaughter waiting to attack these guys once more enemies are engaged. The point, I guess, or the key thing, there we go, that's the, point, is to survive the onslaught of arrows as we move in and actually engage the enemy, and there's a lot of arrows coming down. We also got to remember that our high elf units get weaker as they drop below 50% HP, so we do have to keep that in mind as well. Looks like the enemy's going to preemptively pop a Flesh to Stone on one of these units, but we're going to give chase as best we can and just engage everyone and everywhere. There we go, Silver Helms joining in, getting in a little bit of a fight against some of the enemy Blades. Wait, that's not a... Those are Wildwood Rangers. I was like, wait, that's not a Blade Singer. And Blade Singers are facing off against some White Lines. That's actually not a great matchup for us. I would imagine the Blade Singers should be able to reap the White Lines. I don't know why I was thinking of scythes here, but they have swords. Either way, I would imagine they should be able to rip them apart in theory, but in practice they are quite a bit outnumbered, though it looks like they're also doing quite well. 22 kills to their name so far, and they're getting a lot more kills than the rest of our units are. However, we are pushing up various directions at once, and more of the enemy range units are backing off. We are also trying to chase down the enemy Glade Captain and Hawk Riders up in the sky, while we try to chase down the enemy range units with our faster moving units of Witch Elves and Sisters of Slaughter. And there we go, can't escape, and every time we force the enemy or stab the enemy a couple of times, we engage them with the Madness of Cain, and they are forced to sit there and get killed by the Witch Elves. Man, the Witch Elves scream a lot, though. And I get it, they're enjoying themselves, but damn, it is quite loud. But the Madness of Cain is working for us here. It's really great against all of these range units, so I'm expecting great things from them, and by them I mean the Witch Elves, as we continue fighting the Wood Elves over the endgame scenario, as they will be pretty critical with regards to dealing with the enemy range and hunting them down. Some Wild Riders facing off against some Silver Helms, but it looks like the Wild Riders are getting the short end of the stick. We are also attacking the enemy from this side as well. Now more Silver Helms, more Sisters of Slaughter, and Witch Elves moving in as well. Looks like we're doing pretty decently. The enemy, we're about halfway through and into their settlement, but we have several individual blobs of units fighting, and as we can see, we are taking damage. Those White Lines that were getting reaped by the Blade Singers, who are now, let's see, out of curiosity, how many kills have they gotten so far? They were doing quite well, and they're up to 35 kills and 10,000 damage, probably beating our own units by quite a bit. Yeah, good job to them. At the very least, beating the high elven units. Not so sure whether that's actually the case for the dark elf units. 68 kills and 7.7k damage on the witch elves, and as we can see, the way watchers and other range units are pretty much done. On top of that, we've got our murderous prowess slash mastery active. The executioners will make great use of this, and they are working together with the Blackguard of Naggarond, who will bring down these treemen, probably without too much issue. Alrighty, pretty great battle so far. I guess the only unfortunate aspect of it is that we have several locations where we're fighting at the same time, and thus we can only look at one at a time. We got more Wildwood Rangers facing off against the Witch Elves there. Some nice little matchup. Witch Elves should have this one, although they are being clearly bombarded by arrows from the Deepwood Scouts up there. Somebody at the very least. And some Sisters of Slaughter are helping out, and the enemy is going to book it out of there as well. Let's see, another Flamestorm coming down. Gonna kill a few of the enemy units there, but not doing anything crazy. Hawk Riders still flying around in the sky, but we're going to ignore them in favor of dropping down with the Shell Ray, as well as the Phoenixes, or 2 of the Phoenixes, 3 of the Phoenixes, and our Manticore, and going after the enemy Lord there. And this Lord is pretty much done, but damn, those stags are huge. They're nearly the size of a phoenix or a manticore. Big boys. But this is important. As soon as the enemy Lord routs or dies, that'll be a major morale shock to the enemy, and the battle will start very much going our way. In fact, it is already going our way. The balance power is about 90% in our favor. The enemies seem to be failing out here. The enemy Lord is broken, and I can see leadership dropping all over the map due to it. In fact, I think that is the chain route. Everybody's leadership be dropping, and they will fight no more. Lovely. Alright, well, we certainly took some damage, but it was worth our time and getting a good battle. The enemy's Blade Singers certainly were the biggest threats on the field, probably more so than the enemy range units, as we were able to tie them up and prevent them from doing too much after a certain time. And this little blob of hurt units was keeping back, and as we can see, they all dropped below 50% HP. I just didn't want to send them up further, lest they get even more hurt. Which is probably the thing to do, because with the endgame scenario so soon, they'll need to be healed up to full in time. Ooh, and cool little Blade Wind, or not Blade Wind, Chill Wind rather, effect coming in just as the game or the battle ends. Alrighty, pretty fun battle if I do say so myself, and we certainly did take damage. Only about a fifth of our army in terms of troops lost, but some units got very badly hurt. One of these White Lions, a bunch of the cavalry, the single entities were also in danger periodically, like this Bloodrack Shrine, this Death Hag, and once again, those Silver Helms. A decent amount of Silveren Guard dropped to about half HP as well. Could have certainly gone a lot worse. I think that this is a good indication for the relative difficulty in the near future of the endgame scenario, so should be a pretty darn fun time. And ooh, the Shell Ray just got her Black Dragon, though I do have to wonder whether it would be better to keep her on the Manticore if she's going to be fighting the Wood Elves, as it might be more dangerous to be on the Black Dragon due to it being a big, less maneuverable target. In terms of stats, just want to check this out 1 second. So the Manticore is actually slightly more armored. It hits less hard, and it is a little bit slower, in fact, than the dragon is, and considerably less HP. But, well, I'm gonna give this some thought. I may or may not switch that. Now, Mave, you can, well, I guess you could just sit here for now. Wait, can you reach Waterfall Palace from here? No. Wait, what about in March Stance? Yes, you can. Alright, so Akhenet, I think we'll send you to the Oak of Ages for now. We'll send Mave to the Waterfall Palace, and you're gonna get in each other's way, because of course you are. A little bit concerned about Findal temporarily, possibly declaring war on us, but I'm just gonna assume that it's not gonna happen, or at the very least hope that it's not going to happen. Anyway, let's build up some defenses here as fast as we can, and in fact rush them so that our public order does not get screwed over, as I've been doing between the episodes. And we'll go Tower of Dark Rituals, we'll go for the Dreadmance, and then lastly we will go for the Sorceress's Abode. And we can rush all of those as well if we want them for the garrisons, although I suppose the Sorceress's Abode doesn't really help very much garrison-wise. That's okay. We'll also put you into sacrifices for Cain to get the bonuses. And does this help with fighting at all? It does not. I mean, I suppose I could pop the experience gain. That might help somebody like Malekith level up, but I suppose it doesn't really matter right now. What does matter right now is that was the last thing that we had to do this turn, as well as I did the buildings and all the other stuff between the episodes, so we can skip, hero not moved, skip, siege equipment, skip, and end the turn, and then we'll be down to 2 turns until the end is nigh. Once again, the plan was the final elements of the prep for the endgame here, so we're just going to spend the next couple of turns moving everybody into position, then endgame, or activate the endgame scenario, and hope fervently that it is in fact the Wood Elves and the issue that happened in the Zatan the Black campaign and doesn't repeat itself. Military access with Scarbrand, I don't see why we'd bother. You're so far, it's unlikely that we'd be going through your territory. And I guess, well, our territory is so big that maybe you think that you'll be going through ours, but I sincerely doubt it nonetheless. Alrighty, and are we looking good here? Looks like we are down to 68, another Boots of Baracus. Oh, that's pretty funny. I'm just gonna take them because I find this hilarious, even though we don't need them. And more of these random various types of followers. So many of them, I should say. And even more, and even more. Oh, game. Okay, R&D is ready for duty, but that doesn't matter, though we are starting to drop in a research rate. That's fine. We got most, if not all, of the research that we need. You're heading to the jungles of Qian, just in case the jungles actually do activate, and we do have enemies spawning there. I'm not entirely sure, but I'd rather, you know, I'd rather be safe. Safe than sorry, whatnot. You, Loke, here are gonna head down to maybe Caracate Peaks. I do want one final battle for you. Malice is saving Miao Ying's final battle, I guess, because everybody else is frankly too far. I'm just gonna hope that she doesn't take damage to the garrisons at the Bastion, because it doesn't look like she does, since everybody here is at full HP, so we'll do that, and especially since it doesn't seem that she's inclined to actually sally out. Helebron and Bane Cainmarked, you can go even closer to Griffinwood. We may... do we actually want to take it out, I guess, is the question. Drake is still alive. There's Coadil. Oh, Malevolent Dryads with bows. Isn't that nice? Ugh. That is so nice. We have 2 turns. I guess the question is, do we have enough time to heal up if we attack them like this? Ultimately, I don't think it matters that much. You know what? Just stay here, I think. Although we could build it up in terms of defenses. Maybe we should attack you. Are you allied with anybody? Oh, you're actually allied with the Golden Order. Well, then we are just going to wait. We could have probably had them break the defensive alliance with Draika. But they won't do it now. Okay, so we can't just outright attack them, can we? I mean, I guess we could ask, for example, the Fecundites to join the war, but we'll wait, it's okay. We'll just attack with the Griffinwood up and running. I just want you two to stay together, however, and stay in, I think, Dark Channeling stance and close to Draika here. Alright, and we'll be trading Nagenhof, Mordheim, and Essen as well. Admiral, you are good. Now, let's send everybody else where they need to go. First of all, Malekith, I would like you to go right here. Can't quite reach the crags of Findal. And we have 2 turns of the end is nigh. Our healing is pretty decent, so these 2 will be at full HP by the time they need to be. And nobody else here needs to move. Let's get everybody else into position. Jaden and Morathi are going to stand outside of Orion's camp until the enemies spawn there. And Rakarthi are going to come here as well. Not that I think you're needed here, mind you, but who knows? Who knows? The enemy may be tougher than we may think. And if it's too tough for Morathi and Jaden, then Rakarth will take the reins. Now, let's see who else we need to move this turn. So I guess we are going to move Eladan's Shadow Dart just as a bonus army, just in case we need them army. And we're going to send you to Kingsglade so that we have essentially an army in every location other than the crags wherein Malekith will do his thing. You guys should be outside of Lorelorn Forest, and we're going to just put you as close to it as possible. So let's say, oh, this will cause us attrition. Okay, we can just enter this territory. And we'll leave them there. Yeah, it'll probably make the battles for the place tougher, but we have 3 armies here, so I'd like to think that they should be able to handle it. And if they can't, they can't. We'll have to send somebody else around. Oh, we shall see. Really does depend on how many enemy armies actually spawn. Alright, so with that, Malekith is good, Celebron and everybody is in position here. You guys are in position. So I think all we really need to do now is do buildings. And, well, I guess put Rakarth into position. And then I guess Loke here as well. Alright, fantastic. Let's do buildings then. If there are buildings, there's not a lot. Most of them will have been either set up by me between the episodes or already completed. You can get, I guess, the Black Roads, not that it matters. You can get the Slave Slums, Great Canal, and get that Public Order building, and then obviously build the Tower of Dark Rituals, as well as, let's say, the Sorceress's Abode, which we've been doing everywhere. Val's Anvil, complete to tier 5. Does this buff our units up in any way? Nah, just reduces their upkeep, which is great, but we have 140,000 gold income per turn, and 107,000 of that is through trade. So not what I'd call necessary, let's say. Kingsglade, you can upgrade this just in case of Skaven Plagues, and peek past the last territory that needs to be built. Let's upgrade you. And the only reason I'm upgrading Karak-Kadrin is in the hopes of trading it back to Karak-Kadrin. Let's actually upgrade you like so, and then let's get your defenses up and running. Alright, and defend as well as you can, so get that conscription halls, which will provide even more defenses. Lovely. Not that we really need it. Diplomacy, I think we'll give it a pass. We have 1 turn, unless I'm mistaken, remaining. The end is nigh, 2 turns. Okay, 1 turn after this. So Lord not moving, unassigned skill points, heroes, siege, end turn yet again. And then there will be 1. Presuming nobody attacks us, of course. It would be tremendously foolish, but, you know, possible. Military axes with Clan Moors. I don't see why. You're super far away from us, just as the Exiles of Khorne were, so there's no need to do anything there. Anybody else gonna give it a try now? Alright, well then, the end game is approaching. 1 more turn to pass, get everybody completely into position. Do we care about the loyalty of Killian Cainmark? Do we want to bother with the Skullhelm? I mean, I suppose Hold the Line could be useful on one of our follower units. Yeah, sure, these are the ones. I doubt that she's gonna rebel. Sacrifice to Mathlan is ready, but that's not the thing that we care about. I just want to double check that Killian is at, what, 6? Yeah, but that should go upwards. I would think / I would hope. We shall see. Then... And... Huh. Look at that. Oh. Did you just try to take this and fail? Okay, well, good luck to you. What else do we need to do? Anybody else need to move? Eladan, you got 1 turn. Ooh, you're not going to reach Kingsglade, unfortunately. Let's send Auchinett, then, to Kingsglade for this 1 last turn. Malekith, you're just going to wait right outside of Findal here, or outside of Waterfall Palace, rather. Whatever you want to attack, essentially. R&Ds, just move around. We're also going to want to upgrade the final level of the defenses at the Dread Bulwark. Do we have enough to upgrade anything else, or do we want to? So you're fully defended. Guess we could upgrade the garrisons of this stuff. Argonath Executioners? Go for it. Why not? Cold One Knights, and we won't be able to get Dread Knights out of this, but that's okay. Oh, the place actually needs to heal up further, but I won't have time by the looks of it. Well, that's a shame, but there's not much we can do about that at this point anyway. Alright, so you're ready to go. What about you? Witchwood. And let's upgrade well, actually, these guys will upgrade themselves. You will not, but I don't care about you, and your defenses are pretty darn strong. 2 Hydras, 2 Dread Knights, 3 Executioners, 2 Black Guard of Naggarond, a Black Dragon. It's a solid defense, even without walls, and with all these units. Now, you all are going to go right here. I presume that you can't get attacked at the same time as the turn happens, so let's get one more of these things up and running. Let loose the Witch Elves. That's great. We could try to go for Signal the Overseers, but next turn will be the last turn to get some of this stuff. Because we get Harnessed Fury, it's not a bad upgrade. We got most of the good stuff, and oh, right. I was also building a temporary army, or just a supportive army, of nothing but Doomfire Warlocks, because I could. So, let's do that, let's route marcher you, and who knows, if we need support, then you can come in and help follow an army around there, Astrala, if you can get there in time. I fear that we don't have enough armies here prepared, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Alrighty, last turn of buildings, although, you know what? It probably doesn't matter anymore. At least not that I'm aware of. All of the garrison buildings are complete, and I'm just vacillating because who knows? What if there's another thing that needs to be built? Tory of Rest was so close to building this, but I guess it doesn't actually do anything for us. Unfortunately, there's no faction-wide buffs to be had. The Shellrace Triumph, formerly Gaian Vale, is good. Lothern has its special building as well. I think we're missing it at Tor Anlek. No, we've got it at Tor Anlek and at Tor Anrock. But once again, none of these do anything for us faction-wide, so we don't really care. So the last thing that we do before we end the turn, then... Oh, wait. No. We still have to move Lokir. Lokir, move to Caracate Peaks. I don't know why I'm keeping him in camp stance, but whatever, just stand in camp stance. Is 8 Peaks defended? It is not, but it should be a hefty enough garrison with a bunch of giants and stuff for you to have a nice final battle. And now, assuming there's definitely nothing else, so you can move in here to defend the jungles, just in case. And you know what, let's upgrade to you, who knows? We may need it, we may not, and we'll have one more opportunity, then we will pop the Sacrifice to Cain. So for 10 turns, we will have replenishment, casualties captured, but we don't care about that. More importantly, Dark Conduit, the Explosion ability, and Blood Frenzy for all units. Also, between the episodes, I went ahead and popped all of the relevant buffs out of Glory to Malekith. So currently we have Creatures of the Depths, which is buffing, well, I mean, we have everything. All the bonuses to all the units. Though the Rampage from... the Rampage on Hydras isn't really a good thing, or not on Hydras, on Medusae isn't really a good thing, is it? We got bonuses for Chariot, or Dark Riders, Warlocks, and Scourge Runners, though at the cost of reload skill, but only enabled if charging, so not a big deal. And Tide of Hatred removes attribute charge defense versus large, great for those Dread Knights, though they're only in Malice's army at the current time. Bloodbath, which is decent because it heals our Witch Elves and Sisters of Slaughter, and then Exemplar, just a little bit of a buff for everybody around the Blackguard and Hargonath Executioners. Lovely. Alright, that is good to go, unless there's another buff in here. What is this? So we currently have Call Upon the Sorcerers, and we have Crack the Whips up and running. We could get Offering Tanathrema just for the constant casualty replenishment rate, just because. It won't last 10 turns anyway. As in the endgame, and then the Recruitment and Hero Action Success chance. Just do it. And just do it so that we have everything up and running. There we go. That's as buffed as we're liable to get. So, let's end the turn. And no siege equipment, and go. Here we go. Here they come. Erdithane. Oh, I forgot to move you two. Well, of course I ended up forgetting to move somebody, but it's okay. You're close enough, and frankly, Rakarthus had plenty of time to shine. Erdithane was the one I was very curious about getting a battle going, so that's fine.
Speak your words, but they will change nothing.
Castelton wants a military alliance. Whoa, what the heck? The Tower of Crack has fallen to the to these guys. Dan, don't bother with this. And the campaign will be over before you know it, and there will be no need for a military alliance with you. Now, crossing my fingers, let's hope that it's Wood Elves. Frankly, anybody other than Wood Elves would probably be too easy, but also too far from us, generally speaking. And... Alright, well, okay, that's not helpful. Let's see. Admin, send their souls to the Dark Prince, winds of magic, and spell resistance. I like that. Ooh, or weapon strength armies faction-wide. You know what? I think we have a decent amount of spell resistance. Frankly, the enemy is kind of meh at using spells anyway. Let's go sacrifice to Cain right before the end game. Sacrifice to Cain, the Wild Hunt. Yes, indeed, it is the Wood Elves, and it begins. Beautiful. Vengeance descends upon the living and dead alike as a new wild hunt springs to life. These restless spirits must be stopped lest you and your people become a sacrifice to Kurnos. Alrighty, so how many armies did they spawn? Right, so 1 and 2, that's not so bad. And you guys are actually spawned in different places. I'd love it if, let's see... maybe Erdithane can go after this one. I noticed that there's an army here. Grimwarzard Boys Administration. Yeah, this is all stuff we don't care about. Imminent Rebellion and Mission Issued. Ultimate Campaign Victory. Destroy Talzin, Vidrioth, Argwelon, Bowmen of Orion, Heralds of Ariel, Wargrove of Woe, Lorelorn, and... oh, wow. Lorelorn's gonna possibly be the toughest. And Torgavon. Okay, so indeed it does not spawn anything at the Spirits of Shanlin, but that's just fine. Looks like these guys are fairly separated, and oh my, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. A 6, 7. Okay, so Talzin's gonna be a toughie. We're gonna have to try to get everybody away from Malekith so that he can start attacking this and putting a dent into it. I expect that we will lose the Oak of Ages, but I do like the fact that a lot of the other enemy armies are separated from each other. It may be a function of the fact that we are standing there. It may not. I'm not entirely sure, but there are fun battles to be had. Anyway, I'm actually going to call the episode here, and this is what I'm going to do. There's a lot of items to be swapped around. It's going to take me like half an hour to do this, to get items off of useless stuff and then put all the good items on everybody who is going to fight for the end game. So the last of the admin, that is a hassle. I'll take care of that between the episodes, and I will just begin nothing but battles over the next 1 or 2 episodes. Just a few left in this campaign, so stay tuned for the final episode. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.